Hello, what is up guys? I'm your host Gordon and welcome to another one of my video. Today we got ourselves a S686 and yes, this is another shell ejecting blaster. This is not a regular shell ejecting blaster. This is a break action shell ejecting blaster. How cool is that? And this video wouldn't be possible without the help from MECH POTATO for helping me to get this blaster. To those who don't know who is MECH POTATO is a local Malaysia foam dart blaster seller who sells rare imported blaster just like this one and other shell ejecting blasters such as the XM1014 or the M1887. So to those who are interested, link is in the description down below. In the box, we got the blaster itself, a buttstock, 6 shells, a fake red dot scope, a shell holder, a pack of hardware, 20 darts, and a manual. To put the buttstock together, align the buttstock with the blaster and push it in. Grab the provided nut, align it with the hole, align the screw with the hole, and push it in. Grab the provided screwdriver and lock it in place. To install the shell holder, just align it with the Picatinny rail and snap it in. Then you can push in the shells into these plastic holders. In the same time, you can also easily change the direction of the shell holder. The blaster comes with these shells which at first sight you might thought that it is from the XM1014, but in comparison it is actually smaller than the XM1014 shells. It might look similar with the M1887 shell, but in reality it is actually longer and thinner, which means that it's not cross-compatible. The blaster comes with these kind of darts which is actually slightly shorter than the original Nerf darts, but it is not as short as a half-length dart. In the same time, the provided blaster also comes with a suction cup version which I will be using in the testing because I believe that the suction cup version is much more stable. Next, let us try load the darts in the shells. To load the blaster, you will have to push the lever over here and then the blaster will break open. Next, you will have to use your hand and push it all the way down until you hear a click, which also indicates that the blaster is primed. And then you just need to shove in the shells into the holes. To eject the shells, just repeat the same process by breaking it open. To install the fake reflex sights, just loosen up the screws, align it to the Picatinny rail, and tighten it up. And this is how the blaster looks like when we put together everything. Alright, first look at the blaster. This blaster looks absolutely awesome and amazing. I mean that break action though. When you actually hold it in hand, this blaster feels extremely solid. In terms of the material, is basically a mixture of regular ABS plastic and nylon. The barrel over here is ABS plastic, the body over here is ABS plastic, the grip over here, I believe it is a plastic that is rubber coated, and the buttstock and the handle over here is made out of nylon. And this blaster is actually very back heavy. I believe that they actually put in some sort of like steel plate behind the buttstock to actually make this whole buttstock really heavy. I mean, don't get me wrong, the weight is actually not a bad thing. In fact, the weight actually makes this whole blaster feels really premium. So far, other than the UDL 1887, this is probably one of the blasters that is really comfortable to hold it one-handed like that. Overall, it feels extremely comfortable to hold for a prolonged period of time. The trigger is nice. I mean, everything in this blaster just feels great. Probably except the sling mount, because I totally believe that these kind of sling mount is a little bit too thin. Of course, except the one at the buttstock, but still, I wouldn't want to use a sling in this blaster. The whole brake action mechanism, as you can see, is actually run by plastic pieces over here, so I wouldn't recommend modding it. But for a regular home play and for the fun factor, I think is totally okay. And here comes the fun part, loading the blaster. You just need to press the lever over here and it will break open. Okay, the reason that the blaster breaks open easily because the blaster had already been primed. And if the blaster was not primed, it won't break open easily. In fact, the whole priming mechanism works like that, as well as the shell ejecting mechanism. Ooh, this is satisfying. Yeah. So most people might think that loading 2 shells means shooting 2 darts in one time. No, 2 times. 1 shell at a time. There is actually a 2-level trigger pull over here. The first level shoots 1 dart, and if you squeeze the trigger a little more, that's the second dart. And here's another fun part. That's shell ejection, baby. As you can see, after shooting, I actually need to put my hand on top of the barrel over here and actually do the braking action. So it primes the blaster and ejects the dart in the same time. But if you do not plan on shooting the blaster, you can just pre-prime the blaster like that. Put the dart in there. Close it up. I mean, after you have pre-primed the blaster, everything works out really smooth, including the shell ejecting mechanism. I mean, take a look at this. Yep, you don't really have to put your hand to prime the blaster and eject the shells, for the sake of self-satisfaction. So yep, without further ado, let us go test the blaster out. Okay, so the performance of this blaster, I would say is just okay if you use the provided darts. It shoots from 51 FPS to 55 FPS. But if you use half-length darts, it can shoot from 63 FPS all the way to 67 FPS. Pretty much a Nerf Elite standard. In terms of the accuracy, I would say it is okay. It's not too bad. The durability of the blaster is of course great as well. So far, I didn't break anything and didn't really encounter any jams as well, which is a good thing. If you're talking about indoor use, I'm having a lot of fun with this blaster. Definitely not the kind of blaster that you can mod, unless if you can change the priming mechanism over here to something much more robust. But overall, this is a fun blaster. So yep, that's all for today, guys. Like this video if you like it, dislike this video if you did not like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Adios, guys!